Gary, I know it's not long since we last spoke to you. Is there anything over the last overnight that you can take from the QPR game or anything that you tried to get across to the players this morning?
Yeah, look, I think we all know to put ourselves in that position in terms of conceding the goals is always going to be hard in any game. It doesn't matter who you play, it doesn't matter what the sort of jeopardy on the game or what stage of the season it is. I think what I would say is I thought we reacted really well second half. There was a moment where we get the goal, the stadium's really up for it, and we put them under pressure. And I think again, that's how we want to start the game. That's how we want to play right from the start with that little bit of extra energy. I think sometimes it's easier when you're chasing the game. It's easier when you change formation and make a few substitutions and it just affects the energy of the team. But yeah, we've got to make sure we start like that. So I thought there were some positives. I think the third goal probably took away that positive feeling second half. But yeah, we showed what we're capable of. But I think we've done that at home most of the season. Our home form has been excellent. And you get these little moments in games where you just can't afford to make those mistakes. It's a tough league. It's a brutal league. So but yeah, there were plenty of positives, but it's hard to find too many positives when you've lost a big game 3-1.
How do you deal with the morning after a night like last night, particularly when you come in and you're having to then address the players? What are you trying to get across when you're shown back moments from the game and then just to take into the next couple of days?
Yeah, I think it's like anything. Some mornings you come in and we move on very quickly and we don't show them too much. Other mornings we'll come and dissect the game a little bit and feel like sometimes you have to do that to move on, good or bad. And we'll always try to frame the game in as much as we have to learn from these moments. These are what we did poorly, and this is what we did quite well. So yeah, we've shown them some footage today. I think there was quite a few moments where if I'd have shown the same position against Sheffield United, we'd have dealt with it a different way, maybe because of the heightened importance on the game and the result. And I think it's important for the players to see it themselves and feel the little bit of disappointment. Hopefully, by doing that, we can all move on and focus on the game at hand on Saturday, and hopefully they can make sure that we don't fall short in some of the areas we did last night.
It's probably been a case of the story of the season that if we had that consistency across, we wouldn't be fighting at this end of the table at the moment. But when you have that high of the Sheffield United game and then you have the disappointment of Wednesday night, do you focus more on what you saw from the highs of Saturday to take into these final 5 games, or do you look more at those sort of negative points on the Wednesday?
No, I think again you always try to find a balance. I don't think you can just soft soap over everything. I think you have to look at it and go, right, that's what we need to do better. This is what we need to do better overall. You continue to work on that. Often you get reoccurring themes that one or two things you perhaps don't do as well and one or two things that we're quite strong at. So I think every game's a little bit different as well. So I don't mean you can always play the same way in every game. You have to have a little bit of flexibility. Certainly Sheffield Wednesday are quite a flexible team, play different formations, different ways within that formation. So, but again, I think for me, you come in on the Friday morning and it's very positive towards the next game. It's another great opportunity. We're in a good position. If you looked at it, probably like we said before, when we first came in, we were joint on points with the bottom team in the table. We're not there anymore. Yes, we're disappointed. Yes, there's nights like last night where you want a little bit more, but ultimately we are where we are with 5 games to go. We've got to make sure we go and attack these games and don't have regrets. So yeah, I'd expect us to step our game up again Saturday and beyond and get the results we need.
Yeah, I suppose that's probably the two nuts to crack this season has been the consistency and then also the away form as well. So any magic recipes for Saturday to get 3 points?
Nothing at the moment. I've been looking to see if there's something I've missed. I don't think I have. So, but you can flip it both ways. You can look at Sheffield Wednesday and their home form's not been as good as they would like. So at some point, somebody's going to get a result that perhaps hasn't been their norm for a last period of time. So it has to be us. We have to go there and make sure that we've got the right game plan. We have to make sure first and foremost that we go and compete in the way that we know we can, i.e. Saturday, not Wednesday. And there has to be that little bit of extra desperation on the game, doesn't it? These games now, I know it's a little bit of a cliche, but these games become cup finals for everyone down the bottom of the league. And what you can't do is, you can't make too many mistakes in them either. So yeah, it's a good place to go and play football. It's a good time of the season to go and play football there. We've got to make sure we perform as well as we can.
And the other unfortunate news though from Wednesday night was the injury front, so we're going to be missing a couple of guys for Saturday's game. Is there any news on those? But also some of the guys that are maybe getting a little bit closer, maybe particularly Greg, is he getting close?
Yeah, I think Greg potentially was available for the game, but we didn't feel like he would have been able to get through that long, so therefore I decided to just hold him back a little bit. Of course, you've got Brownie, who looks, almost certainly to be out for a considerable period, but we don't know what yet. That was a big blow. Obviously, he's been so consistent for us and been one of our best performers. You've got Hidder, who's probably going to have to follow the concussion protocol, so again probably won't make the game Saturday. Whether he makes Leeds or not is something we'll have to monitor. And Benno got a nasty whack to the face. I was quite surprised that that got missed out. If you think about Tyler's down at Exeter, there's a little arm. He gets 3-game ban, and then the lad basically splits open Benno's face. He's going to have to need a serious amount of stitches, I think, today. So again, we'll monitor those. They're just the things that end up happening. Sometimes you have no injuries, and then you get a few come along at once. So we'll manage it. We'll have some players back, like you say. I don't think Matty's too far away. I think Elliott's a little bit further, but not too far. And there's obviously players that haven't played as much as they'd like. So, hey, listen, it might be opportunities for people. It might be opportunities for them to step up, and there might be a need for 1 or 2 people to go again and lick their wounds and crack on. That's what you need at this stage. 5 games to go. We need a few heroes out there, don't we? And there's no way to avoid that.
Yeah, 5 games to go. It's going to go by pretty quickly, isn't it?
I hope so. Yeah. After last night, it can be quite a tumultuous period, certainly for a head coach. To have the extreme highs of Saturday and then the extreme lows of Wednesday. That's the job, right? And we've got to manage that. We've got to navigate that and make sure we stay pretty focused and prepared and with a lot of clarity as to what we need to do at the weekend.
Perfect. Thank you very much.